Hey everyone, Minsuma here. Today is 7th of June 2025 and we're going to look at a market recap this week. We keep a levels of greed on the fear and greed index, meaning that the current market sentiment is optimistic. This week we have a good performance across majority of the sector, leading the upside movement, the technology, the communication services and basic materials, and the worst performer this week has been consumer cyclical, utilities and consumer defensive. In terms of index performance, since the beginning of the year, we have the Euro Stoxx 50 with a 12.04%, the Nasdaq with a 3.416, the SP 500 with in a negative area with minus 0.77, the Dow Jones Industrial Average minus 4.51, and the Russell 2000 with minus 12.40. Small companies are definitely doing worse, and technology is definitely doing best within the indexes in America. In terms of systems, we've got the entry for the Dow Jones, SP, and Nasdaq back in 2023 and late 22 and early 23, and then we exited around 2024 and 2025 and 2024. We don't have the buy entry signal yet, but probably within the next weeks we should have the buy entry within those systems. Looking at the volatility comparison between the SP 500, we can see how the SP 500 is slowly climbing towards the all-time highs, and the volatility is slowly descending towards an area of comfort, which is 16. Pretty much my area of comfort is around 14 to 12. We're slowly going towards that area, so it's very positive that the price in the VIX is decreasing or the volatility is decreasing, so the price can steadily continue going up and up with the normal corrections in between. Looking at the indexes analysis, we've got the Dow Jones Industrial Average that activated the double top, achieved the objective, and now we have a big correction and we are basically returning from this big correction. We can trace a Fibonacci retracement connecting the maximum to the minimum. We already overpassed the 61.8%, meaning that we are now heading towards the all-time highs at 45,073. Based on technical analysis, that's the next target and the next big resistance we will found. And obviously, we don't know what's going to happen, but this is based on the probabilities that we're going to be visiting the all-time highs rather than going to the previous minimum. Looking in the Russell, which we observe is actually the worst performer, we've got a trend line connected over here, and then we got in one of the systems the entry signal a few days ago. It's very important the price break through the 200 moving average. If that's so, which actually the price closed slightly few points above, we'll have the next resistance around the 2,300 area, and then the all-time highs at 2,466. Moving into the SP 500, slightly better than the Dow Jones, we have a good correction with 2 Fibonacci retracement wave. We can project now this one as 1 Fibonacci retracement wave. We overpass the 61.8%, and the price break the 200 moving average with a beautiful gap. We use now this area of resistance now is acting as a support, as we can see here, and now the price is slowly going to all-time highs, which is the 6,156. That will be the next resistance, and once that our objective is achieved and we overpass the all-time highs, then we will be able to activate another massive bullish structure. But until that doesn't happen, we have by probabilities a normal path towards the all-time highs. Moving into the Nasdaq, exactly situation as the SP 500, we have slightly like a double top activated, 2 Fibonacci retracement wave. If we now calculate a Fibonacci retracement connecting the maximum to the minimum, we already overpassed the 61.8%. So the price, by matter of probability, we have higher chances to go to the all-time highs, which is at 22,022.6. Moving into the stocks, and now analyzing the 7 magnificent companies. So we're going to start with Apple. Currently, I don't have anything within this chart on a technical analysis. If we connect this as an actual trend line, we're still on a correction phase. Our first big resistance will be the 200 moving average that passes around the 220 area. And then this trend line that is drawn here connecting, or it will be similar with this previous maximum, so it's around the 225. A lot of resistance on the way for Apple, and I currently don't see any potential big structure activated on Apple at the moment. Amazon has a better structure, so we currently can capture another Fibonacci retracement wave, and we just overpassed the 61.8% on Friday, meaning that path with permission, if we go above this previous resistance at 214, then there is high chances to visit the all-time highs at 243. Moving into Google, we have a head and shoulder inverted structure. I wouldn't say it's the most clear structure here, but you can see here the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. And we use this pattern to calculate the total projection or the possibility of the projection. So we measure the distance between the head and the neckline. We project from the breakout point, which was exactly here, and then it gives an objective price towards 205, and actually the all-time highs is 206. So as long as we overcome the resistance on the 22 of May this year at 176, then we'll have all the way free for the 206 objective. Quite positive with Google, but we need to just wait for the pass of this previous candle. And if we break this resistance, free way to go to all-time highs. Moving into Meta, we have here a very small triangle where the entry had an objective at 27%. That was already achieved. We can calculate this as a double bottom as well, with a projection exactly within the same area that was achieved thankfully on Friday, and now we are heading towards all-time highs at 737. Microsoft, probably one of the strongest one among the group. We've got a trend line. We had a beautiful breakout through on the 25th of April. We break the 200 moving average with a beautiful gap, as we talked in the last video, and then we have the take profit very close. Since that breakthrough, that was already achieved. And then we have basically a continuation, and we are at the moment at all-time highs. If we zoom out, we don't see any other period in history where Microsoft has any other resistance. For people who are currently not within the stock, obviously we are quite far from previous support, which is the 200 moving average, about 12%, and the big real support area passes through this gap below that, which is slightly lower at a value of 394. And then we'll have the previous minimum, which was 355, and then 344. So very strong, Microsoft, very good looking and in very good shape. Moving into NVIDIA, we have a downtrend channel. We have a breakup where you can see here the entry. We have the take profit already activated, and then we have another objective towards 159, almost 150. And based on Fibonacci retracement wave, exactly the same cases as before. We have, by matter of probability, going to all-time high, which is 153. For people who are currently not in, just only mentioning that the first area of support is on the 200 moving average, and this is 11% drawdown, and the price can perfectly correct to the 200 moving average, and really nothing affected, nothing fundamentally changed, and still is 11% obviously drawdown within your position. So it's very important to measure the risk you take within any trade. So yeah, by matter probabilities, again, all-time highs, which is exciting. And then Tesla, we have this triangle, or some people could even call this as an actual rectangle area. Either way, we have the breakout on the 25th of April. If you follow the triangle, if you follow the rectangle, then it will be on the 21 of February. Sorry, not 21 of February, 9 of May. And then we have a projective objective towards 392. So I'm going to leave actually this mark for previous videos so we can see the objective is currently within this area. The price, the first resistance area is the 314, and it's very important that we don't lose the previous minimum in the 284. Then by matter of probabilities, we will be visiting the lower levels, which is the 214 and 217. And finally, moving into crypto, we had Bitcoin reaching all-time highs. Finally, it break through and now we are in a consolidation period. The first support area will be the 200 moving average at the 95,000. Previous support areas are the 92,000, the 74,000, and yeah, that will be the main support area. So 200, this one, and this one. What's going to happen? How do I see this? Well, it's a normal consolidation period. We can even draw a downtrending channel similar like this, and until we don't break through the downtrend channel and we don't overpass the all-time highs, there is basically no technical structure activated so far on Bitcoin. Very strong, very healthy, holding very well during this volatility movement. And that's pretty much it for this week. I hope you like, you subscribe, and see you until next week. Bye bye.